Mr. Kennedy, you brought this case before the court.
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on?
So I'm sharing custody with our 12-year-old daughter now, and I'm just wanting a little more help with finances because as she's getting older, expenses are getting a little higher, and sports, dances, going out hanging with girls, and yeah, I just want a little more help on my end. I'm paying insurance already. And,
okay. How much are you paying in insurance?
$130.
All right. And what is your daughter's name?
Autumn.
Autumn. Oh, what a beautiful name.
Thank you.
This man takes ex-wife to court to get her to help with the expenses for their 12-year-old child. So the ex-wife, she's married to a rich man, and this man wants help with the child expenses.
So what type of expenses does she have that are increasing?
Yeah, so she's doing volleyball right now, and we're thinking that she's going to be doing that in high school as well.
Okay.
So just, athletic wear and then traveling, going to places. I want to go and support her and as well as her, but, I'm the one having to drive and take her if I don't want her to ride the bus because I don't feel her safe doing that.
Okay. Is this a school bus or?
Yeah, it's a school bus.
With her teammates?
With her teammates, yes.
And you don't feel that she should ride with her teammates?
If it's really far away, maybe like an hour or more, I'll drive her. But, if it's 30 minutes or less, I'll usually let her typically go.
Okay. That's understandable. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to her?
She's just a growing girl, and girls are expensive, as they say. So.
I mean, we are. We have a lot of stuff that we need. So, yeah. Ma'am, is there anything you want to add or subtract from what he said?
Yes, Your Honor. I do feel that he's trying to take advantage of my new relationship.
Okay. Tell me about this new relationship.
Well, I can't really help who I have fallen in love with. So my new husband is a fantastic provider. However, I do get an allowance, and it isn't as much as you would think coming from, well, my husband's a CEO of an energy company, so you would expect a huge allowance, but obviously he has to protect all of his hard-earned income.
What type of allowance do you receive?
About $500 a week.
$500 a week, okay.
Can't help who she falls in love with, but the man has money. The man has a lot of money. He's the CEO of an energy company. She can't help who she falls in love with.
All right.
So, which really isn't that big a deal. I mean, obviously.
That big a deal in terms of the amount of money, or you paying child support for more in child support for the child living with him and having increased expense?
Well, I don't think it's that big a deal to Mr. Kennedy because he has a pretty healthy income himself.
But you do understand his income does not have anything to do with an increase in what you should be paying in child support, right?
Yeah, and first thing first, you are a mother even before you're in a relationship. So that 500 a week allowance that man is giving you, I bet it's not for you to be spending it at home because he's buying everything, probably is paying for everything at home. So that part of that money you could at least even sacrifice a week allowance, a 500, and then you give it to the man, so that money is spent on the child, because you still have to be a parent. The fact that you've moved on, you've gotten in another relationship does not make you stop being a parent. You still have to be a parent, and parents, what do parents do?
Yes, I understand that, but what I don't think has been considered yet is the fact that I set aside furthering my education, though I wanted to pursue that, so that he could go get his MIS degree and then a master's in something. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure that it's fair. I would like to consider all the money that wasn't spent on me that should have been spent on me while we were married.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not how this works. And sir, she says she gets a $500 a week allowance from her husband. and who is a CEO of an energy company. Briefly, how much money does your husband make?
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a lot.
It's a lot?
I think so.
When you say a lot, is it like in the 200,000s, 300,000s?
Well, the car that he drives was about 200,000. So I'm thinking you'd probably have to
You
make
only
more
get a
than that.
$500 a week. You know what? That's not my business. That's not the reason I'm here. I'm not going to even entertain that.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'll just move on. Sir, do you know how much money her husband makes a year?
I don't, but he's the Steve Jobs of the town of
Steve
energy,
Jobs.
so to say. huh?
So let me ask you this. Are you expecting her child support to be based on his Steve Jobs?
No,
job?
his success has nothing to do with me or my daughter or our
Okay.
daughter.
Well, yeah, it's great that he cleared that up, because I mean, because it would have seemed like as if this man is taking this woman to court to get more money, or is jealous because she's doing fine. But it's more of him wanting her to also be responsible for the child.
And like I said, I just want a little more help because she's
Okay.
getting older. And, if she's happily married with whoever and how big his wallet is, that is totally up to her.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's not what you were doing because you can't do that anyway. But what we can do, ma'am, is make you pay more in child support because at this point you've been paying zero. Because from what I see, you're a stay-at-home mom, which is absolutely okay. But you do understand that your child has increased expenses, correct?
Yes, I do see that.
Okay,
but
so after yes, I do see that, that means that I don't need any further response. So you understand that, right?
well, how much are we talking about?
We're going to base it off that $500 a week allowance that you make.
Okay.
So, based on that, I have your gross at $2,000 a month. After you take out the calculations for the taxes, your net comes out to $1,662.53. Okay? That would give you a child support obligation of $266. However, you also heard him say that he pays $130, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In medical insurance for the child. You're going to have to reimburse that to him. So, in addition to the $266 a month for child support, you add the $130, your child support obligation monthly comes out to $396.
Can I say something?
Sure, but make it brief.
Okay, well, I don't know if he's still subscribing to the same psychic,
Okay.
but she charges, I think it's $412 a month.
Okay.
And-
What does this psychic have to do with these numbers?
Well, because I just feel like if he can afford the psychic, then maybe he can afford the insurance. And I guess I feel that that is money that could have gone towards my education while we were married.
Okay, well, I've already said no to that. That has nothing to do with me. I mean, you should address that in your divorce, obviously. And whatever he pays, if he chooses to do that, that has nothing to do with your responsibility, your financial responsibility to your daughter. So if there's nothing further from either of you, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She said, I can't help who I fall in love with. Translation, I cheated and digged my claws in my CEO affair partner, new husband. I couldn't help it. I'm a gold digger. You only get $500 a week. That was definitely shade. The fact that she's trying to argue against $300 a month for her own daughter, this woman hasn't grown up since her teenage years. He needs to protect his money, meaning he made her sign a prenup. So if that shift falls through, she gets nothing. Not once she said anything about her child, and that speaks a lot about what really matters to her. I love this judge. She's full of common sense. She's really doing everything she can not to put a single dollar into her daughter. He drives a 200K car and you're only getting a 500 allowance. I smell a lie being told. Basically, she didn't want to pay anything towards looking after her daughter, instead spend the money on herself. What a lovely woman. Looks like people want her to be contributing as a parent. So like I initially said, I mean, if you are a parent, you have kids, you still have to be a parent. Whether the relationship or marriage doesn't work out, you meet other people, you still have to take care of those kids. Your priority should also be children. That allowance, maybe that money is giving you, I mean, it's not the only allowance. Maybe she's even getting more in allowances, but she thought, you know what, if I say maybe a 500, I mean, I'll just be paying a fraction of that in a week or in a month. You know, but the whole thing is she didn't want to pay anything towards her child. Notice how she brought up the fact that the man sees a psychic who charges over 400, and her child support is about that much. So in her mind, she's saying, you know what, why do I have to pay you about $400 when you can cancel your psychic subscription? You are a parent. That's your daughter. You still have to contribute. Guys, thanks for watching and subscribe to the channel.